Hey, what's up, guys? It's DeFi Momo here. Today I'm going to be talking about Iron and the Iron ecosystem, why you should care about it, and how you can earn 0.8% daily interest. Yes, 0.8% daily interest by staking stablecoins. And you can even earn 3% interest by staking the governance token of this ecosystem. Before we get into the details behind the tokenomics, why I do think this is sustainable, let's actually go ahead and show you guys the yields. So just to know, I'm not pulling these numbers out of my where. These yields are currently for the Iron USDC pair. These are two stable coins, 0.8% daily. And Iron, we can see, it is a bit volatile for a stable coin. There have been some pretty drastic drops, in all honesty, but it has served its purpose as a peg to the dollar. In the grand scheme of things, it has roughly held its peg. So this is a pretty low volatility, low risk way to be able to enjoy nice daily interest. And if you want to actually increase your risk tolerance a bit, you can head over to Beefy Finance and you can actually stake the governance token for this ecosystem, which is Titan. And there you can earn 3% daily interest. This, however, is obviously not pegged to the dollar, so you are going to probably experience volatility. Right now we're sitting squarely at an all-time high. So, do your own research. If you want to go into that, there's obviously a lot more risk involved, but it could, again, be pretty lucrative. And as for these farms, they are pretty safe places to put your money. This one has 230 million TVL. It's one of the biggest farms on Polygon. Beefy Finance, also a really popular yield aggregator, 160 million TVL. So, and they have been audited, and there is Rug Doctor reports on them. You should definitely check this website out. And, just look up Beefy Finance. You can read this. You can I also do recommend checking out their audits. But so these are pretty safe places to park your money. And, you can put your money to work in their vaults. They both have these vaults where they basically take the rewards from staking these tokens, and once per minute, they burn all of the rewards and put them back into the vault. So it's compounding once per minute. And, I think this is a really powerful way to do things because with this liquidity pair in particular, you're earning not only sushi, like for the sushi swap one, you're not only earning sushi, you're earning Matic, and you're also earning the Iron ecosystem's Titan. And that I will explain that. That is actually where the majority of this yield comes from. But they basically streamline everything and basically reinvest everything into the liquidity provider token. So again, these vaults, they do have additional fees. There's a 0.1% withdrawal fee, and 5% of your profits are basically going to the farm. And there is an alternative. You can use their tanks. I think Beefy Finance might also have one. You can actually, I'm not sure, it's actually their pools, sorry. And you can actually get a similar APR. This is about 0.7% daily, but there's a 4% deposit fee and you're getting paid in the native token. I do not recommend this. This 4% deposit fee is going to reduce your flexibility a lot. It's going to take like a week to recover the fees. And the payment in farm token, this is heavily inflationary. So this is not going to hold its value. With the vaults, you're basically keeping all your value in dollars, and you have also the benefit of compounding. So those dollars immediately go back to work. So if I were to get involved, I would personally do the stablecoin pairs just to have the lowest amount of volatility, and you can still enjoy a nice daily profit. If you have a bit more risk tolerance, I would even go as far as to do the governance token liquidity pair. You can earn 3%, and also if the token continues on its bull run, you can enjoy that as well. So let's talk about where these yields come from. Obviously, these are not coming from the trading fees between this pair. In typical liquidity providing, the interest that you receive comes from people trading between this pair and you collecting any fees that go on in that process. The majority of these fees come from liquidity mining incentives. What Iron Finance has done is they're basically putting forth free Titan their governance token that they're minting. And they're using that to basically generate a huge chunk of this yield. And right now, the iron titanium Titan token has been on an absolute tear. So your yield in dollar terms is much higher because really they're paying out yield in terms of Titan. If Titan's price is higher, then that yield in dollar terms is also higher. So that's where the bulk of this is coming from. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this is just another Ponzi. It's like inflationary. They're minting their token to basically give to you as interest. How is this sustainable? Well, I'll actually argue why it's in fact very sustainable. As you can see here again, there's about 500 million TVL, which is absolutely exploding. It's about 20x from less than a month ago. And so how this works, if we look at the documentation, the whole philosophy behind this iron ecosystem revolves around the stablecoin. So this is a partially collateralized stablecoin. And what that means is that they don't keep all of the collateral in reserve. They take a chunk of that and actually put it to work in yield farming to generate yield. And that yield actually accrues to the Titan governance token stakeholders who stake their Titan into a single asset staking pool. And we can see here, if we head over to investment vaults, 75% of the collateral is actually invested, and only 25% is kept in reserve. Now you might be thinking this is really sketchy. Why don't they keep all your money in reserve? Well, our financial system actually relies on a similar model, which is fractional reserve banking. When you put your money into a bank, you don't actually, the bank doesn't keep 100% of the dollars. They keep, a certain percentage determined by, the reserve ratio that our central banking system sets. And the rest of it, that's actually how they make their money. The rest of that money they loan out to, another customer who wants to get a car, who wants to get a house. And they collect the interest on basically free money that, it's not their money. They basically took out a percentage of the reserve and lent that out. And what Iron is doing is pretty revolutionary in this sense because, typical stablecoins, which are 100% collateralized, they don't have this opportunity to make yield. And it can stay pegged to the dollar while also generating a yield on the collateral that otherwise wouldn't be generated. I'll explain how it stays pegged to the dollar briefly. There are automatic mechanisms to keep that in place. But essentially what you need to know is that there's a huge source of value here, which is that a bunch of yield is going to the Titan single asset staking pool. So you see that here? And so that essentially makes people want to buy Titan and lock it up out of circulation. That's a huge buy pressure on their governance token, which has contributed a lot to this rally. As the Titan price is higher, everything benefits in the ecosystem. All of these APRs are basically 100% correlated to Titan's performance. So we want Titan's price to be as high as possible. The second source of value in this ecosystem, aside from this, pretty revolutionary new concept of having like partially collateralized stablecoins, is that anytime you want to mint a Titan, you actually use 98% stablecoin, and the remainder is in something called steel. This steel is basically used to burn Titan. So it's a deflationary pressure on the Titan token, and it basically reduces the circulating supply. This is huge. During this early phase when we're still seeing how much Titan the market really needs, how much it can support, I think the majority of what's pushing the increase in TVL in the Titan ecosystem, and obviously this increase in Titan's governance tokens price, is precisely this minting process. I think we're still in like a transient phase where we haven't reached an equilibrium in the number of iron tokens coming in and going out. And there's so many new iron tokens being minted daily that it's basically burning up a bunch of this Titan and taking it out of circulation. We will eventually reach a steady state where there's like an equilibrium, there's no net increase or decrease in iron over, the long term. And that will take out, this huge kind of run up. This is basically to what's bootstrapping the most of this growth. We will eventually reach a point where, the Titan token doesn't have as much of a deflationary pressure coming from this, but it still will have value from its partially collateralized model, where a huge chunk of its collateral is used to generate yield. So, while I do think, again, these yields aren't necessarily sustainable, I think some form of yield here is sustainable, and it will probably be higher than you could get at other stablecoins for the foreseeable future. My guess, this will bottom out at around 0.15 to 0.2% daily, if I had to guess. Right now, we're able to appreciate a much higher percent because it's in such an earlier phase of its bootstrapping, and the Titan token is obviously on an absolute tear, that we can enjoy these high percentages for the time being. So let me talk a little bit about how this token maintains its peg. Basically, it's pegged by the market. People come in and they see, okay, like let's see right here. The iron price, I meant to say that the iron maintains its peg by basically the market participants coming in and doing arbitrage. So let's say you see iron right now and oh my God, iron is at 91 cents. So what can you do here? Well, you can actually go over to their iron bank and you can mint. You can buy iron from the market at this price of, let's say, 92 cents as an example. You can buy that Titan at 92 cents, and then you can actually redeem it for stablecoins. So you can basically get $1 worth of stablecoins for 92 cents worth of iron. So you arbitrage and you can profit like 8% in that scenario. Obviously, you'd have to justify like the transaction fees, and there's a bit of steal that is received, but this can also be converted into stablecoins. But yeah, so that's basically what's keeping the peg in place. Is whenever there's a huge spike or huge decrease, people basically will automatically come in and use that as an arbitrage opportunity. And let's say here where it's $1.05, what you can do is mint your own brand new iron, and then you can sell that on the open market for 5 cents above what you created it for. So, the market will automatically keep this peg in place. And I have no doubt that there are a bunch of trading algorithms that basically see whenever it leaves peg, sees when, the arbitrage can be justified by the difference, and basically executes arbitrage. And that does a really good job of maintaining peg, and it's maintained its peg relatively well, barring some brief decreases. And the volume here was not very high in these chunks right here. So this is a bit more representative of what we can see. But again, this is all very new. You need to do your own research. This is not financial advice. But I do see this as a pretty low risk way to get exposure to the ecosystem, appreciate some of the profits from Titan's good performance, but also you have your assets locked in stablecoins, and all the interest you're earning is in stablecoins. This is probably the lowest risk way I would go about doing this. If you want to take on a bit more risk, I would recommend doing the Titan Iron liquidity pair. You can earn 3% daily, and also you can appreciate along with the Titan token. I was actually in this farm. I literally entered probably 3 days ago, and I'm up 70%. So, it is a bit more risky. I delegated this to like 1% of my portfolio. I have most of my yield farming funds actually in the Iron USDC pool. And you can do that either at BFE Finance or Polycat. These are both really good decentralized like yield aggregators. And obviously do your own research, check out these exchanges, and make sure you do a bit more research on iron. You can read I went through like 2 parts of this whole docs. You can read everything here, and you can even read their audits. So I really recommend you do your own research, but this could be a very lucrative opportunity, and it probably won't last forever either. And I probably should have mentioned this, but this is actually cross-chain, but most of this is happening on Polygon. So that's why with Polycat, Beefy Finance, these are all like the Polygon yield aggregators. Beefy Finance also has a BSC yield aggregator. You can do it through there. Polygon, I think, is just superior. You pay very low fees, and you can also get higher yields because you're also gaining like Matic, and so your interest is actually a bit higher on Polygon. But yeah, so that I guess that about wraps up everything I had to say. I don't want to take up any more of your time. If you enjoyed this video, please smash the thumbs up button and subscribe. This is a brand new channel. This is actually my first video. So if you like this content, let me know. I don't really know if this is going to be well received or not, and just let me know if I should keep making videos like this. But anyways, thank you and have a nice day.